why does he speak Spanish? Did he learn it for Jim, if possible, so that they could talk to each other and other people wouldn't understand them when they were working with Jackie?
And the thing about Spanish, he speaks it well. He sounds like a native almost in a few things that he does say. And it's really funny to me that I find people whose native language is English who speak Spanish like super hot. Like it's my Spanish, it's my first language. It shouldn't feel like this is A Flag Means Fan Fiction, the show where we celebrate outstanding actors who exemplify healthy masculinity. On the pod this week is Andrea, a lover of a sweet face. Say hello, Andrea.
It's me.
Next is Without is Law. Law is a chaotic disaster extraordinaire.
Hi.
And of course, we have back Judy, who is sitting to find Arthur as her car is busted. Don't we all?
Yes, I need Arthur's kind eyes to help me get to work.
I would pay to see that in New Jersey, to be honest. And I am Belle, a lover of professional actors who take their craft seriously. And of course, Samson Kayo is one of those people. So very excited. Today, we are talking about our lovely, sweet, adorable, very soft, yet competent Olu. It's the Olu episode, everyone.
He's so sweet. I just want to squish it.
He is such an interesting character because he's so like cute and cuddly and I want to squeeze him, but he's also like super hot and sexy all at once.
He's like the only voice of reason on that ship. It's like the thing that was on the internet. If you remake a movie and it's all Muppets except for one human character, Olu is that one human in the ship full of all these freaking Muppets.
Yes, and we'll get on his stable ways in just a minute. So we'll start this show like we usually do with our first question. What's the most gay pirate thing you've done recently?
I have two. I have two gay pirate stories. One is positive and one is negative. My positive is, as you said, yes, I just went to Hawaii with the girl I'm dating and saw a lot of fish and a lot of turtles. And that feels pretty piratey to spend that much time in the sea. We did go on a boat to actually go out to snorkel on a coral reef. Also felt piratey. I love boat time. But my negative key pirate story is I'm having a Swede moment of the teeth don't go back in. I had a crown fall off. I only had one crown, just one. And it fell off in Hawaii. And so they put it, I came back, went to the dentist, and they did put it back in. And you know what happened? Disintegrated. The teeth don't go back in.
Oh, no.
I also have two. Both me and my daughter got cited for swearing, her at kindergarten and me at work. Because apparently when you tell somebody that you would rather take out your own appendix with a rusty fucking grapefruit spoon that gets you pulled into the supervisor's office. And in kindergarten, when you yell, "What the hell?" at another child, that gets you pulled to the teacher.
Well, I still hold I'm very proud of her for saying, first of all, hell is nothing. And second, yeah, come on.
My other one, which happened just a few hours ago, the way the door and the employee entrance at my job works is to get in, you scan your ID card and the door opens. To get out, there's a sensor at the top of the door, and when you get close to the door, it will unlock. And earlier today, I slammed my hand in a cabinet. I can't see if you could tell how purple my hand is. So when I'm leaving, I hit the door at the exact wrong spot, and the door did not open. And I ran into it, injured hand first, and then the rest of me. And it surprised me and hurt me enough that I fall backwards onto my ass. Thankfully, there was nobody else there. But the first thing that came out of my mouth was, "Ow, dick fuck." The security guard who was watching the monitors that day, I probably made his night.
I have managed, like Steed, to suck my husband into my world pool because we were out thrift shopping. We were trying to find a piece of furniture. And my husband, who's always, like, you have too much pirate stuff. You have too many pictures. You have this. He's like, "Oh, there's a lighthouse. We should get that and paint it. Oh, wait, over there's a ship handle. We should get that and put it on the wall." And I'm like, "Honey, do you realize like what you're doing? You have been sucked into the pirate whirlpool." But we've been together a long time, so I guess it was only a matter of time.
I just want to say, starting your sentence with, "I sucked my husband," just totally freaked me out for a full second. I was like, well, where is this going? And then it turned out the only one. Yay.
Oh yeah, no, I was like, this is getting good.
I mean, I'm sure that's all interpretations are great. I'm happy for you that your husband wants to join you in pirate decorating.
My gay pirate story comes from my recent trip to Europe, of course, and I have plenty of those, so you'll be hearing from those one at a time as the episodes develop. But I'll start with the very, very first one, which is my complete lack of, again, time permanence or any kind of time-related functioning. So when we were planning the trip, I was convinced that we were landing at 6 in the morning. We were not. We were landing at noon. So I signed up for Vico's garlic soup class, thinking that I was going to have plenty of time. I was going to be set up at the hotel ready to listen to it, and I couldn't. And we also bought tickets to a show for 2:30. So we were landing at noon, and we had to be in the West End 2.5 hours later. Then earlier, before we leave, we get a text saying, oh, your flight is delayed by an hour. So now we have about an hour and a half to get through customs, through passport control, and into London. Yeah, so it was a lot of fun. So I was not able to tune in at all over because I hadn't even landed by the time we had started. Although I'm watching it now and I'm very excited. Lots of headcanons from Vico. So we got there. Thankfully, the UK is up in technology, so everything is automatic. Everything is the computer, so you don't have to talk to people or anything. You just scan your passport and go. So we were in and out very quickly. I know how to navigate the tube, so got us in as quickly as possible. And to make it to the Mousetrap, we basically had to sprint from our hotel to the venue of the show. But we made it. We made it with about 10 minutes to spare. So it is possible to get from Heathrow to the West End in an hour and a half. Just have to be athletic and willing to throw some elbows.
And where do suitcases go?
We in the theater with you? Oh, we of course had to go from Heathrow to our hotel, drop off our suitcases. Right. Yeah. So right. Yeah.
Okay. Wow. And you made it. I'm very impressed, honestly.
It was touch and go, but we made it. It was very exciting. Let's talk about Olu. First, we already talked about how sweet and amazing he is. He is just a soft teddy bear, and much like this rest of the teddy bears in this show, it's a soft teddy bear that's also, as we talked about, super sexy. And yeah, you just want to do things to the teddy bear. He is cheeky. He's got some of the best lines in the show. I say that, of course, about almost pretty much every character. I think episode 2 is the first time where you really see him shine, all his interactions with a native tribe. So early on, he shows just how funny and how amazing he is.
And he's also the one, like, in the very beginning where everybody's like, yes, we're going to mutiny. He's like, why? He pays us. He feeds us. He reads us stories at night. Well, I mean, I don't have a problem with him. Why do you guys have a problem with him?
I think he is kind of the heart of the show, almost more than our central couple, because he is who's always sort of grounding the story and bringing the perspective. Because let's say you get your pilot episode and we only see how everyone hates Speed. And we don't get that grounding force of Olu saying, as you just said, Lo, like, oh, yeah, why would we kill him? Like, he does these things for us. Like the conversation at the end of the pilot where he says, yeah, but it's nice while it lasts. Like, he'll probably kill us, but like, look how great we have it right now. Like, without that grounding from him in the very beginning, I think we'd all have a different interpretation of Steed as more of like a Michael Scott character that you really don't like. And, maybe eventually you'll like him, but there's no good there. But Olu lets you see that good right away. And I think without that, I don't know how the story would really continue. And then he is, again, I think the grounding of season 2, because it's his relationship with Zhang that lets us see like the theories of softness and finding that, which we'd seen some of that in season 1 as well. To me, he's one of the most important characters, if not the most important, I think.
I think one of the really good things about Olu is that he finds good in like everybody. He's never like really mean about anybody. He doesn't, he may say little comments here and there, but he sees goodness in Jim, even though Jim is not open and, looking for revenge. He sees the goodness in Steed. And I think he's kind of that character who also shows you that there's something good in everybody.
He grounds the show, definitely puts things in context to make sure, I think, almost guiding the audience to all those little things just to make sure that we're kind of going along with where the storytellers wanted to go. And much like very intelligent people, he can also be very, very dumb, which I love. Jim lets us know that he's gotten lost in the ship before. There's one episode where he's just completely missing. Like, he's just gone. The episode of the fuckery. He's not in until the very end. And if I remember correctly, somebody's interpretation of it was that's the time when he got lost on the ship, and that's why he wasn't there. He sorts the scrolls by weight. Oh, yes. He moves the ship. And sets them by size. So that's another thing that you could tell which makes sense within the show, the plot of the show, which is a sailor he's not. He's not. He ends up having to go to sea because he has to escape Jackie because of Jim, but he's no sailor.
He's also got the pep talk part and stuff with Steed as well. He keeps, do you want to live? And then he can't pronounce China correctly.
He's definitely the calm under pressure person. For sure. When shit hits the fan, he can keep it together. So what else do we know about him? We of course know his last name, which is great.
Yeah.
Love it when a character has a full name. He's really good at accents. We know that. His Nigerian prince is fantastic.
Very good. Also, I don't think it's made your list, but he speaks Spanish.
He does. He speaks Spanish.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Which is another sort of like piece of the mystery of his backstory, right? Like, why does he speak Spanish? Did he learn it for Jim? Possible, so that they could talk to each other and other people wouldn't understand them when they were working with Jackie. My grandpa did that to date my grandmother. So,
Or it could be that's what caught Jim's attention about him, is that he knew Spanish and they were like, oh, you understand me. Cool. Let's be buds.
Yeah. According to the internet, Boodhari, the last name is perhaps Ethiopian or Somalian. Because that's just, I'm on Bing. Oh, maybe don't trust that.
Another thing, and the thing about Spanish, he speaks it well. He sounds like a native almost in a few things that he does say. And it's really funny to me that I find people whose native language is English who speak Spanish like super hot. Like it's my Spanish, it's my first language. It shouldn't feel like exotic and beautiful to me, but I'm like, oh, they're speaking Spanish, and my heart just kind of melts.
It is hot. Also, I just from Bing, so take it for what it's worth. But there's a famous poet whose last name is Boodhari. So I wonder if that was naming him, that was an homage to this famous poet who wrote, I guess, songs about love. Who knows?
We have some very close friends who are from Nigeria. They're African. And when I knew we were doing this particular episode, I asked them, is Oluwande like a real name? Was it made up for the show? And they said it is, in fact, a real name, a popular name. And which I found interesting was that they told me that it means good wealth will come to you, or good prominence to you, which I think is so much fun when you think of him playing the African prince with the wealth. And that's what the name means. So I thought that was a fun little bit.
Even though I did look it up, I never doubted that it was an actual name, because the writers of this show are not those kind of writers where we just make up some word to name. Like the number of people in shows or movies that are named like kid in another language or something is really quite ridiculous. So it doesn't surprise me that, of course, these writers wouldn't just pick up a word in another language and be like, yeah, that's his name. He is also cautious, but more cautious than everybody in that ship, which is a good foil to pretty much everybody else who's just constantly throwing themselves into harm's way.
He is coming from, at our best guess, food service, and who knows before that. But he doesn't say anything like when Frenchie says that he had been in service before. So I guess we can assume that Olu maybe doesn't have that shared background. I don't know. All we know is he worked in a restaurant. Same. Worked in many restaurants.
Yep.
I don't think Olu was there when she said I was in service.
He was there. But I don't know. I mean, I would assume, not that assumptions are good, but I would assume if that were something they had in common, like we would have heard about it potentially. So yeah, we don't really know anything about his history, but it seems that, yeah, he's sort of, I mean, Steed is the least piratey pirate, obviously. But
oh yeah,
Olu's pretty up there with being not a piratey pirate, which is funny because Jim is such a piratey pirate, and they, have such an instant connection, obviously that evolves over time into various things, but they're from the beginning very close, even before we meet them, but they're quite opposite in that way. Olu is the most cautious. Jim is perhaps one of the least cautious.
I heard somebody once describe them as a dog and a cat, especially when they get to Jackie's and Olu is just vibrating with tension and he's so scared. And Jim is like smirking and knocking things off table. Like it's a perfect, like, Jack Russell or something very like nervous and vibrating. And then a cat who's just creating chaos left, right, and all around.
He may not be the most piratey pirate, but he falls right into the criminal element when Frenchie decides to go running with the con. It's not, oh, we shouldn't be doing that. It's, okay, cool. Let's do this. Awesome. So he obviously doesn't have a problem with criminal activity, but, maybe not as far as actual pirates go.
Well, and it's also tricking and fucking with rich assholes. So there's a huge difference. And that's...
No, yeah. I mean, who doesn't want to do that?
Criminality versus immorality. Those are two huge things. So, for example, what pirates, especially in that area in the Caribbean, were doing was, to me, perfectly like as moral as it gets, basically, for that time period. Mm-hmm. But so he becomes a rock, and this I can relate to this very much. He becomes a rock when somebody else is in danger, but when it's him, he like falls apart. So as soon as he thinks that Abshir has caught them, he's just like, I'm sorry, we'll leave. Just don't hurt me. When Jackie is threatening him, he's just like the worst liar in the history of liars. He's like stuttering. So again, he contains multitudes. Yeah, I'd say things are gauche all the time now. Yes. And saying it that way, I thought the word Karagosh, it's just the best. And then Jackie's reaction to that, of course, it's his faces. Yeah, he is, again, everybody has such limited screen time because of how short the series is. And then yet we see full characterization from everybody. There's not a single flat character in the whole damn show, except for perhaps the baddies, the bad guys. And that's fine. Like, I don't care. I don't care to know what happened to Badminton that made him turn into such an asshole. He can just be an asshole. But yeah, we get a lot. We get a lot from him.
And I think when we see like that dog, he's a little puppy, like the coming for some cake, that's very dog energy. And I think also kind of going to what you were saying, like, oh, he's sort of down for whatever, as long as it makes sense. Like he's down to trick rich people. He's down to follow this random nun and eat cake at her house, and just found out that she's Jim's grandmother, apparently. Like maybe, we don't know. Just down to show up. He's the guy that you want when you're like gonna do something stupid with your friends. Like you want him to be there because he'll come along for the fun, but he will keep you from doing anything too crazy.
Yeah, he'll keep you out of jail or something, but will totally be down to play. So it's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
He's what I think my teenage children would call the mom friend. Like he's with them, he's involved with it, but
oh yes,
he's on the edge of being naughty and being, taking care of everyone. So he's like the mom friend of the boat.
Which also makes sense that when Steed is gone and Izzy has taken over and Izzy's not doing a very good job, they all turn to Olu and go, "We lost Dad. Mom, help."
But I think to your point, Judy, he does have more mom energy than dad energy, right? If we're thinking about things in binary, blah, 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 whatever. Yeah, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. He does have more of that like mom energy, that sort of nurturing, caring. Like again, we go back to the beginning of the show and how much he's emotionally there for Steed, much more than being great at Ocean. He is an emotional support for him. So yeah, he's a good fill-in for Steed, right, at the end of season 1, but ultimately quite different, making different energy.
He spends time with Steed when Ed goes off with Jack. He didn't sleep in the captain's cabin because Steed kept him up all night, but he stuck around in there.
I think that Olu is the only one who genuinely likes Steed, as we discussed before, because he was there for Steed when Ed left and he stayed. And I think until the Steed rescued them, the rest of them didn't really have an affection toward Steed. And I think Oluwande did.
Yeah, it's a part of giving everybody a break, giving everybody the benefit of the doubt, being more more grounded in reality again. So Pete, and we have to do a Pete episode. I haven't done that yet. He just has he thinks of himself very highly of himself with very little actual substance behind it. But Olu is more grounded in reality. He gives everybody a chance.
Yeah. But he also doesn't like take any shit, like he doesn't let someone like Pete walk all over him either. He calls him out on being just like full of shit.
Oh, yeah. And the whole thing was with Black Pete is, you can't call dibs that in your head.
Right.
Oh, is this how we're doing this? Oh, you go down there and you could take care of those big scary pirate guys, okay?
Yep, exactly. He's not a pushover by any means. Like he's very, very, very sweet. But he's not a pushover. He still knows himself and he knows when it's starting to call somebody out for being dumb, which I think that's the kind of person I aspire to be. Someone who is thought of as like a sweet, reliable friend, but also like, don't fuck with me. Don't do that.
Absolutely. And on the other side of that, he is completely unaware of how hot he is. So he is completely unaware when people like him and when he's being flirted with. Just whoosh, right over his head. Just nothing there.
Then he has to climb into his lap before he gets it.
Yeah, yes. It's like, I thought you were going to kill me. It's like, oh, okay. It's like, no.
She actually said, she's like, well, I'm trying to seduce you. Oh, like, wow, okay.
Yeah, and it's not even that time. She's been flirting with him since the soup kiosk. And it's just like nothing there. Absolutely nothing there. Also adorable, his sort of care with Jim, where he's like worried that they'll be uncomfortable and I'll keep watch. Keep watch. Just so cute, just so adorable, so non-threatening. So it's just so refreshing to see in a character.
I also think some of my favorite dialogue with his was him and Jim talking when they got back. It's, I kissed someone. Oh, okay. Well, and they have that whole talk and it's like, I saw her boobs. Both of them. Okay, I'm done.
Yeah, it's super cute. And as I said, I was watching Vico's garlic soup momentous event earlier today, and they talked about how Samson and Mads and everybody basically was all in for garlic soup, and so that was very cute. And they talked about all the things that they took out. So we would have seen a lot more of Olu. And I mean that in several different ways. Had we had a couple more episodes, I'm convinced Calypso's birthday should have been 2 episodes. But yeah, so we didn't get to see that. So that's very sad.
I'm very, very sad about that.
So we've talked about, everything we love about him, everything that makes him such a good, complex character, just like everybody else in the ship. And of course, who do you ship Olu with? Garlic soup. In my eyes,
oh yes,
of course. And it's one of my favorite things to see in Fix is the way that he interacts with everybody, especially with Archie, because Archie's like a puppy and he's like the older dog kind of being like, okay, I'm trying to be patient here, but you're driving me crazy.
Yeah, I could just imagine okay, you know what? Maybe let's not do that because, well, that could start a fire.
He also bends Auntie, which is no mean feat. For an auntie to say I'm sorry and to see the error of her ways, that's big.
After he messed with the war map.
Yes, exactly.
He's still able to win her over.
He's such a grounding force of the show. He's, as I know I said, I'm repeating myself now, but all of the change that happens with Auntie that's emblematic of the change that happens for other people within that season is because of him. And it's really, it would just be such a different show without him, because it takes the comedy and it sort of grounds it in I don't want to say a lesson. That's not what I mean, but like it grounds in something that you can like pick up, and more emotional and more meaningful. Yeah, without that, it would just be, The Office, but the sea.
Yeah, this is it. I think Olu kind of helps guide us in the direction that the show needs us to go. So he's the one that explains Steed maybe a little bit about Doofus, but he's doing a good thing for these people. And he's pointing out to everybody, these are not good pirates. Like, let's look at them. He's the one saying, look at that one and that one. Do you really want that to be your captain? He's setting the scene in our lives are short and hard. And whatever we can get out of this, let's get out of it. Let's enjoy it while we can. So he sets all those expectations up about the world. So he's a very world building character, I think. Also, not all of us chose to be here. You did, but not all of us did.
Yeah, the kind of the reality of it for Steed a little bit. This is the happy adventure. It's not ours.
For some of us, like, if we're working, like, I'm not there because I want to be there. I'm there because I have to be there. I have to make a living. And I'm taking care of these people who are there because they want to be there. And I think a lot of people kind of don't think of that when they're the ones who want to be there. And whereas Steed wants to be there, the rest of them have to be there.
Because the show is it's really absurd if you think about it. Again, you need that person who sets it, who contains it, because this is how absurd we're going to get. And that is as absurd as we're going to get. We're not going to go beyond that. Does that make sense?
The one human amongst all the Muppets.
I love that you said that, because when people say that about Izzy, Khan really hates it. He's like, no, Izzy's also a puppet.
I mean, like I was saying before, it's like it's one human amongst all the Muppets, because literally everybody else on the show is a freaking Muppet. And then you have the one voice of reason and reality. I mean, that's essentially what Olu was. It's the one human amongst all the Muppets.
Okay, so we've covered a lot of why we love him so much. Do we see any changes from him between season 1 and season 2?
That's such a hard question, because I feel like the whole point of the show is growth, right? It's personal growth. It's learning how to sort of accept all sides of yourself. That is what the whole thing. But he is one of the more consistent characters. I'm sure he did change. Obviously, we saw his relationship with Jim evolve, and he sort of shifted with it. We see him as a consistent sort of romantic lead in season 2 that we didn't see in season 1. But I feel like in terms of how he interacts with other people, that does tend to sort of stay the same. Like, he is always the voice of reason. He's the voice of reason at the beginning of season 1. He's the voice of reason in the cursed suit episode when everyone has their knife to their throat. He's the voice of reason with Auntie when they're literally gonna be executed. Like, he is always that. He doesn't waver in his wisdom, his patience, his kindness. It is, again, the through line through the show is him and his guidance. So that's an interesting one. It's a hard one.
Yeah, I would say he's probably the character that changes least in between seasons. He also doesn't seem to be quite as angry at Ed as everybody else seems to be.
Well, I mean, Olo is so laid back to begin with. I think that he'd probably be like, think to himself, yeah, he did some really bad stuff, but he was also in a really bad place. And I guess I can come to grips with that. And because Olu is so reasonable and he's smart like that, and he would understand that. He may not be entirely overjoyed with it, but he's not as angry as everybody else is, because I think he had an understanding that that's why what he was doing was happening.
That being said, he's the one that starts the potential exodus when he decides that he wants to go with John. So he's the one that, I guess, matures into saying, I need to try something else now. I've done this. I've been with you. You're all doing okay now. Seems like things are stable, and I am going to go. And of course, we never do find out whether ultimately Jim and Archie would have followed him and Jean.
Yeah, that's
likely.
Does our parenting episode just came out, which was all of us again, plus Chloe. And we talked about that scene because it is one that always stands out to me. And I guess I was the part that stands out is Steed's little sad face. But you're right. Before that, Olu is the one who starts that, who says, yeah, I know that I've been the grounding force for everyone here, especially Steed. But I think it's almost more, I don't know if it's necessarily that like, oh, you're okay now, because when he's leaving, like Steed is in utter chaos. But perhaps it is, I am doing something for myself, right? Like we see Olu being very sacrificial for others, and not in a horrible way, not in a way where he's a doormat, but he is, you know, doing everything for Jim. He got on the ship for Jim. That wasn't something he wanted to do. And, you know, he left Jing's ship the first time, again, kind of for Jim, because they were the one who said like, hey, come on, it's time to go. And this was something, you know, that he felt comfortable and confident in doing for himself. So I guess that's a big change. Going back to my question, I just answered differently and now have a different answer. But that's a big change for him, right? To go from, even more so than Steed, kind of being at Jim's beck and call, to saying, I'm going to do this for me. Jim, I know you're really supportive and maybe you can come. And again, the garlic soup. But I love that he made that choice for himself.
Once again, going back to the mom energy, because you always see the, you know, I'm going to sacrifice everything. And then it's, oh, wow, I can actually do something for myself.
I'm just going to say, as a mom, you get to the point where you say,
yeah,
my kids are big. My kids can take care of themselves. So his crew, his children, they could take care of themselves. And as I'm going through right now, because my 2 older kids just left for college, they start to spread out. And you start to say, well, now I can actually do what I want to do. I can go where I want to go. And that's a revelation, let me tell you.
Absolutely. And moving forward, so what will we want to see, or do we think Olu would do when we finally get our season 3?
More garlic soup. Yay.
I just had to say, be an active polycule.
And can we finally get me that sex scene, please, people?
All we want is a group sex scene. Is that too much to ask for?
Oh, yeah. I mean, like, really? By the way, in the sex scene that we do get from him and Jim, it's absolutely hysterical because, again, reversal of general roles. He's the one in front, and Vika, who is so tiny, is spooning him. And then when it's adorable, and when Lucius walks in, he's like covering his chest. Which is
so good.
It's just we didn't get the stereotypical sheet over the chest thing with Olu over the chest. Yeah, it's so much better.
It's truly superior. Everyone take note.
Yeah, it was so amazing. Such a good thing. And apparently, again, according to Vico, Samson, Mads, and we're already planning, like helping, like thinking about how a threesome would work with them. And we're already working on the logistics. So what we could have had.
Well, what we will have in season 3, right? Yes. What we will have in season 3, active polycule, a group sex scene. It'll be fine. Don't worry about it. Whoever's funding season 3, we're fine. We'll watch it.
Yes, please.
And yeah, I mean, yes. But aside from, you know, seeing, well, actually, no, I'm going to keep it polycule related. I would love to see his continued personal growth in the polycule. I know there's jumping ahead. There's a million fan fictions about garlic soup and how their dynamics, how they all fit together. But specifically for Olu, I would want to see him continue to assert himself, take care of himself. Like, yes, you know, Jim is very important to him. Zhang is very important to him. That's great. But what does he need? What does he want? Where are his needs being met? I would love to see that for him and for him to explore that within the polycule.
Yeah, that's a very good point. And a very good segue also, of course, to talking about Podfix and what we like to see him do in Podfix or would want to see in Podfix. Not Podfix, fanfics. That's what I meant.
Whatever, same thing.
Yeah, I think I would like to just see him relax. Just get to relax, not have to worry about who he's got to take care of. And I mean, it kind of goes back to doing something for himself, but actually just get to kick back and not have to worry about who's getting into what trouble and who he's got to take care of. Just have a day off.
Yes, he needs to go with Roach and Fang and have a nice spa day.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, in terms of his characterization, it's one of the reasons why I think Archie would be good for him, because Archie's kind of chaos and brings a lot of fun and a lot of just silliness. And Archie's always smiling and happy, even if she's about to get beaten up to within an inch of her life, right? Which is the complete opposite of Olu, who's just they're always in the same level, but down somewhere in the very easily dipped into sadness kind kind of side. And Archie's always up here in the ridiculously enthusiastic side. So I think those two make a good company.
Well, if we're talking about cat and dog again, I think Archie is more dogs. They can be two dogs running together in a field.
Correct. Just the little yappy puppy and then the older dog. That if you ever have seen this, every once in a while, the older dog, even though most of the time they kind of go like, would you please leave me alone? Every once in a while they go, okay, let's go run. So it would be very, very cute. Anything we've seen specifically that we like, or call to action to our amazing team of fandom writers and things that you would like to see him do?
I mean, for a lot of the fics that I read, Olu is a side character, which makes sense for the most part because most people want to write about there's a lot of garlic soup, to be fair, which I haven't read a ton of. I read a little bit, even though I am a big fan. But in the fics that I tend to read, he's a supporting character. He is pretty consistent, I would say, in the fics that I've seen of he's the one with the good advice and he's the one who's the grounding force, da da da. So I don't know it's a call to action because I bet all these fics exist, but I would love for someone to make it easy for me and send them to me. Olu centered fics where he's just hanging with his polycule and everyone is about him. Everyone is just wanting to hang out with him and make him happy just for a day. Not all the time. That would be silly, but just once. I just want to see that.
I've read quite a few fics where he helps Jim kind of work through, because we often forget that we see Jim's gender journey in the show. It's quick, but we see it. And so a lot of the fics that I've read have him help them with that, come to terms with it, especially when it comes to sex, because that's, of course, all I read. The fact that it is a journey.
But what's always true is that you're reading porn. That is always true 100% of the time.
I'm nothing if not consistent.
Consistency.
Yes, but it helps them navigate how their feelings towards their own body, towards what they want to do in bed, versus what they've been, I guess, programmed to do. So I love that. And I said this in the garlic soup episode because it's me and I'm very attracted to Samson, and the bottomiest bottom that ever bottomed. I love to see him be dominant. So writers out there, if you want to make me happy, soft dom Olu, please. Which I think he would actually do very well at. I think his personality very much would fit.
Well, now I want to read that because, since your 14th episode, I'm a little better now. So yeah, I want to read that. That actually sounds really nice.
Although I don't think it would be something that he would enthusiastically be like, yes, I immediately want to do that. It would be like, no, come on, you'd be really good at it. I kind of think that Archie would be the one to not talk him into it, but be the encouraging force with it.
And then if we switch over to Samson himself, what would we want to see him do?
I think he's adorable, and I would really just love to see him in just about anything.
Yeah, I agree with what you said earlier, Belle. Everyone is a good actor. Everyone is talented. I do not mean to say that anyone is not. But I think he is one of the better actors in terms of being able to switch from dramatic to comedy to happy to sad to, he is very good. So I want to see him in theater. Am I going to fly to the UK like you did just to go to theater? Absolutely not. But I would love for him to do it.
I was going to say I would happily fly back to the UK just to watch him in a play. I would do that kind of nonsense because I'm crazy like that. But so
if you put me in your suitcase, maybe I'll.
There you go. So Samson, I heard an interview that he did. Samson kind of almost literally stumbled into acting. It was something like he went to return an iron or something and happened to stumble upon some auditions and got cast. They got cast in something. And this made me so happy, and my little acting heart just went soft, is that he, as soon as he started getting cast in things, he went and took proper acting lessons and was serious about this thing. So a lot of people think of, and I hear this a lot and it pisses me off, of acting as just this thing that you just kind of can sort of pick up and do. And there are a lot of people that have natural talent, like with everything. And you can get away with just being charming. In fact, there's a lot of celebrities out there who make their living in acting who are not truly actors. They're just super charming, and that's all they need, and that's all they get cast to be, and they they're entertaining to watch and they're great. So we're just going to move on and that's cool. And those are the people that I wouldn't deem actors, right? Just because you're in a movie or a play doesn't make you an actor. So the fact that he took the time to go, okay, this thing seems to be working out for me. Let me make sure that I do it properly, that I know how to do it. It just, I mean, it fluttered me in all kinds of ways. So I would love to see him in theater some more. I saw him, of course, in F1, and I screamed like a crazy person when the first time I saw the trailer in a movie theater. And then in the movie, I promised myself that I wouldn't like go crazy every time he popped on screen. But I did. But every time I would turn to my partner and start like copying him, go,
yeah, why did you lie to yourself? Yeah, you know better.
So I try to keep it down. So the only person that really, really suffered was my partner for me slapping him every time. He was like, look, it's Samson. So yes, I see him. Thank you. So yeah, it's very cool. And I was just off doing all kinds of cool things all around the world. So I'm very happy for him.
I would love to see him. I would love to see him get into like a real heavy leading man, type of career, because I think he can do it. And I also think it would be so nice to have, someone who's a diverse leading man, not just the good looking white guys or, the good looking black guys, whoever, just like somebody who looks distinct. Like he's not that typical leading man, yet he has so much charisma. He's so sexy. It's something he could handle. And I think people would really be drawn to it. So movie producers out there.
Put him in Bridgerton.
Yes. Oh, I would love that so much. I would love that.
He looks good dressed up as well, as they all do. He wears a suit.
Oh yes, he
did well, and he's so hot. I would definitely front romantic lead 100%. As long as, and because I hate Hollywood, as long as it wouldn't make it into almost like what is it, Paul Blart Mall Cop type thing, where he's like, but for him to be truly a leading man, like somebody that the audience falls in love with, not somebody that the audience laughs at and kind of feels bad for. Which I don't think, to be honest, Samson would take that kind of role, but I don't know the man, so I don't know. Yeah, let's just put him in things, people. Put Samson Kayo in things, please. All right, my friends, as we wrap it up, any closing thoughts about Olu, about Samson, before we get into our fic recs?
Let's tell everyone, let's get a billboard. It doesn't necessarily work to get RFX Season 3 right away. We're going to wait for that, obviously. They might. Maybe we can get a billboard for Samson, because I feel like he was just an F1, right? Let's capitalize on that. Get him in more things. Let's get a billboard. Yeah.
Absolutely. Let's do it.
He has it's so funny because he has what it seems everybody has on this show. They take a small, relatively small character, because there wasn't that many seasons or that much screen time, and just made it huge. And what's his backstory? What does he think? Where does he come from? They all managed on this show, which is one of the reasons we're all obsessed with it, to take so little and make it so much. And he's definitely one of the best at that.
We're so lucky that show gave so much.
Oh, yes.
They picked such amazing actors. I love it so much. Okay, so let's get into our fic recs, my friends. Let's talk about what we've seen. I'll go ahead and go first, since I just wrote my name first in the show notes. Sorry, in the outline. So I'll go, okay. So the reason I picked this one is because, again, I am fascinated by this fandom's creativity. Things that I would have never thought they do. So this is called Let's All Be With Us. It is a Schitt's Creek crossover. Or not a crossover, it's more of our Flag Me's characters in Schitt's Creek. So it's one where, if you saw the episode where Patrick and, now of course I'm not going to remember anybody's names, when they go to the really hot guy's apartment, and the really hot guy, dumb guy, has been flirting with Patrick. And they get there and they go, oh shit, I think this is going to turn into an orgy, and they leave. Except in this fic, they do leave, but then Jean, who's Olu's partner, goes, you look like you want to go back. And they do. And so they have a garlic soup moment. It's super cute. It's really, really nice. And you get a lot of...
That's so creative.
Yeah.
I never would have thought of that.
Right? It's so good. And it's a lot of inner Olu dialogue and inner, like what is going on in his head. So it's a really, really cute episode. And it's by Tragically Nerdy, one word.
Okay, I think I'm the only other one in here that's got fic recs. Is that right on the list? Okay, so my first one is called Ship Full of Nobodies by Stitchy. And it's a fic of a whole bunch of vignettes on how Steed hired them all. And everybody on the crew pretty much has their own little section, but Olu's stood out to me just because it's so cute and it's so funny. It's him and Jim sitting across from Steed in a bar, and they're like, is this guy for real? Because he's like, yes, I am, hiring a band of sailors and we're going to go off and have adventures. One of the things that stood out is Olu has a line, it's in his head. He goes, who let this guy out after dark unsupervised? What is wrong with this guy? But you know what? We have to get out of town because somebody recognized us. So you're nuts, but okay, we're in. And the other fic I have is called Finest Things. It's by Yaz113. It's that Olu discovers Steve's auxiliary wardrobe and he starts looking through all these clothes and Steve catches them and they have like a try-on session and then they make out about it. Which that is it.
I love that. And of course, if you want to look for fics, garlic soup, hashtag and lots of garlic soup on AO3. So have some fun with that. Writers give us some softer Olu. And if you've already written that, then let me know. I'm going to be like Andrea and just send me your stuff. So I don't even have to look for it. Let me be lazy. I'm still slogging through like 600 mark to be read later in my AO3. So my friends, we're wrapping up. What are you looking forward to? What are you up to? Tell us how we can find you.
Find me nowhere because I don't exist. Or find me on Blue Sky, Pajarito Botones, send me fic recs, and tell me I'm pretty.
You are pretty.
I was just going to say how gorgeous. I was going to say how gorgeous your hair look. I've been thinking about it this whole time.
Thank you. I got it, and they redid my highlights. Thanks, everyone. I know I look really great. But yeah, everyone send me things to read, which I'll read someday, as Belle said, of my millions of bookmarks.
I'm Fandom531 on AO3. I've got a variety of nicknames every other place. Over the next couple weeks, I'll be working at various run fairs, our booth, which is Adventures from the Wizard's Tower, and I'm a pirate there.
Yay, pirates. I am Judy's Oranges Everywhere, AO3, SoundCloud, Blue Sky. I am currently wrapping up the Festive Fuckeries podfic series for Politis Menace. I'm also working on the Cherry Thrill by End of a Dream, that podfic as well, and still working and putting out my first fic, Slower and Gentler, Wiser, Free, which doesn't seem to ever have an ending. I just keep finding more and more things to write. And that's what's going on over here with Judy.
And as for me, you can find me in Blue Sky, Tumblr, and AO3 under Peerless and Wicked, and the letter N, one word. And in the metas, Belle La Saltimbanque. I'm still working on my podficking. I'm trying to get better at it. Thank you guys for helping me not only get better, but faster at it, because it takes me forever to put out one chapter. So I'm learning to be better so I can put out more stuff. I'm on Spotify as well. If you look for Whiskey Tango Foreigner, you'll find my channel. And as for the show, we are on all the socials as well. Our flag means fanfiction across the board. We also have our flag means fanfiction at gmail.com if you want to talk to us. Send us recs, send us kudos, do all that good stuff. Review the show, tell people that there's still appetite for our flag means death related content. Okay, my friends, thank you all so much for joining us again. We'll be back soon. And until next time, do creations, be cringe, commit crime.